Secrets of Wisteria is a disturbing Vocaloid song and music video that has been on YouTube for around 7 years at this point. The original upload being on October 30th all the way back in 2014 on the Steam Pianists channel, the creator of the song. On the surface, the song just seems to be a creepy tune, which is used alongside some ominous lyrics and visuals. However, if you've been a huge fan of Vocaloids or have just been on the internet for a while, like myself, you may know that this video holds a much darker and troubling side to it, just below the surface. To be completely serious for one moment, the context behind this song is incredibly disturbing and not for younger audiences. This is a lot different from my other analysis videos, as this is based on real life events, so please keep that in mind as I discuss Secrets of Wisteria. Any fan of creepy music, or even just a big true crime or horror buff, will know about the story behind this video. But before I can dissect the music video and its connection to said true story, I must explain the context behind the song. Secrets of Wisteria, as a song, delves into the story behind a very grisly murder that occurred nearly 100 years ago. Albert Fish, born on the 19th of May 1870, was an infamous child killer, child rapist, and cannibalistic man who went by many monikers during his time of infamy. The Boogeyman, the Brooklyn Vampire, the Grey Man, and the Werewolf of Wisteria. Albert Fish was a very sick man. He would lure children away from their families and friends, sometimes molest them, sometimes kill them. We don't actually have a number for the amount of people he affected with his crimes. If you have no idea why I'm talking about this 100-year-old serial killer in relation to a Vocaloid song, when I explain his most prolific crime, it'll make a lot more sense. In 1928, on the pretenses of bringing her to a children's party, Albert Fish lured a 10-year-old Grace Budd to a Wisteria cottage in Westchester, New York, took off his own clothes to avoid any blood spatter, persuaded Grace to come up to the stairs into a bedroom where he waited inside of a closet until she entered the room. Upon Albert revealing himself, Grace attempted to run away from Albert, but he managed to catch up with her, all the time Grace saying that she would tell her mama about what was happening. He then proceeded to strangle the 10-year-old as she kicked, bit him, and scratched him in an attempt to flee, but unfortunately he overpowered her. He then proceeded to cut the girl's body into pieces and cook the parts he liked most. Eventually, years after this crime, he was caught due to the anonymous letter he sent to the parents of Grace. The letter itself describing the murder he committed, as well as the consumption of Grace Budd's body. Albert Fish had sent letters to some of his other victims' families. However, the Grace Budd letter is the most relevant when discussing Secrets of Wisteria. As I stated earlier, the song Secrets of Wisteria recounts the murder of Grace through its lyrics and even quotes the letter sent to her family. So before I take a look at the video's imagery or narrative in the lyrics, I'll quickly just explain some of the things in the song that proves that the song is in fact about the murder of Grace Budd, and the connection between the music video and the actual crime isn't simply a theory and is in fact ingrained into the song. First of all, the easiest connection to explain between the real life murder and the music video is the title itself, Secrets of Wisteria. Grace's murder took place at a cottage of Fish's choice, known as Wisteria House, and as a result of this specific murder, Fish gained the nickname the Werewolf of Wisteria, further strengthening the tie between the real crime and the video, just from the title. The opening line of the song also greatly emphasises the connection between the two. Little Gracie found a strange house, this obviously being in reference to the victim, Grace Budd, as well as the house that she was led to. Another large connection between Albert Fish and the video is that during the video, his lifespan is flashed on screen, May 19th, 1870 to January 16th, 1936, his date of birth and his date of death as a result of electric chair after he was caught for his crimes. And shortly after this is flashed on screen, the sentence "Cyril Quinn ran quick" flashes on screen. I'll discuss later who Cyril Quinn was, but for now, just know that he was one of Fish's potential victims, but he managed to escape. The most evident connection between the actual crime and the song is the outro of the song. Just as I mentioned in my Okasan video, some creepy songs will have a reversed message at the end of the song, and this is very much the case with Secrets of Wisteria. It's more terrifying than most other standard creepy reversed passages at the end of songs, however. At the end of this song, there is some reversed audio. The audio is a voiceover that is reciting the final lines of one of Albert Fish's letters. The passage is from the end of the letter that he sent to Grace Budd's family after murdering and eating her. When doing research for this video, I read the letters that Albert Fish wrote and sent to the families of his victims. I read about him and how twisted he was, and normally for my videos, the research is one of the easiest and also funner parts of making the video. But in the case of Secrets of Wisteria, a lot of it was genuinely hard to read, and it messed me up a little bit. Reading how depraved and almost cocky this sick man was about the crimes he committed really disturbed me. As a result, I'm placing a little warning here. I'm going to play the reversed audio from the song. Granted, it isn't actually Albert Fish's voice, however, the words being said are still very much from him.
I choked her to death, then cut her in small pieces, so I could take my meat to my rooms, cook and eat it. How sweet and tender her little ass was roasted in the oven. It took me 9 days to eat her entire body. I did not fuck her though. I could have, had I wished. She died a virgin.
So now it's blatantly clear that the song's connection to the actual events is simply more than a theory. Since we now know that, let's delve into some of the more debatable things about the video, such as some of what the imagery and more vague lyrics represent. For example, the video starts with a girl hunched over, staring at the ground as if she's crying, as the credits are shown just above her. The first shot of note is of 3 severed heads floating above a small house. In my opinion, I see this as representing Fish's victims. There are only 3 definite, confirmed victims of Albert Fish: Francis McDonnell, Billy Gaffney, and Grace Budd, 2 boys and a girl. The severed heads also seem to be that of 2 boys and a girl, but as the faces are distorted and their bodies missing, we can't really tell. Little Gracie found a strange house, yet again highlighting that the song will focus more so on the Grace Budd murder than the others. Then, the line, "Swift sharp needles do spot his face." This may also have a hidden meaning. Fish had a strange fondness for needles. When Fish was captured and arrested for his crimes, there was an x-ray done on his body, revealing that he had embedded over 29 needles into his groin and abdomen. He would also beat himself with a wooden board filled with metal nails embedded inside. He was a sadomasochist who was obsessed with inflicting pain on both himself and others. We then get a shot of a girl's feet as we hear the lyrics, "Before he feeds on the sheep's white fleece." As one of the nicknames for Albert Fish was the Werewolf of Wisteria, I feel this lyric is highlighting the relationship between a wolf and a sheep. One consumes the other. As the video proceeds, we get seemingly random imagery along with the word phantasmagorical, which means something is dreamlike or deceiving. White hills appear along a black sky as the words "Willows of Wisteria" are sung. The next shot seemingly shows us a hatted, tall figure holding a child's hand, a memorial. She'll be lured away by a tall, hatted figure, and she will die with a crescendo of hysteria. We are then met by some more strange imagery: a lone white door in a black void, followed by an old music box, which, when opened, overflows with viscera, most notably a black liquid and a pair of eyes. Next, we see a boy missing his face, just like the 3 heads in the video's introduction, meaning the eyes are probably his. The music then takes a much more aggressive tone. The colours go from a monochrome black and white to a much harsher red and black. "Little children led astray." This line is pretty self-explanatory, highlighting how Fish would persuade Grace Budd's parents into allowing him to take her to a party. The imagery that flashes on screen next is seemingly random with some outliers. We see a butcher's cleaver being flashed on screen, most likely in reference to how Fish would cut apart his victims before consumption. When carrying out most of his crimes, Fish would have with him what he would call his implements of hell: a meat cleaver, a butcher's knife, and a small handsaw. We also see a set of teeth flashed on screen, also demonstrating how Fish would consume his victims. The majority of the imagery shown is just meant to represent the children, such as with the children waving. or represent the children's death, or simply just the loss of life, such as with the case of trees and flowers wilting and dying, as well as the skull being shown, or they represent fish himself, such as with the cleaver and the set of teeth. We also see the tall-hatted figure again during this sequence, as well as a lot of shots that portray the children as puppets or dolls, which is probably in reference to how Fish viewed his victims, usable toys to fulfill his sick gratifications. The music then fades as the red and blacks fade and text comes up on screen, giving us Fish's date of birth, followed by his time of death due to electric chair. We then see the line, "Cyril Quinn ran quick." The line is not sung, as the song starts to slow down its pacing. Cyril Quinn, as I said earlier, was one of Fish's potential victims. Cyril and his friend were playing in the middle of the street when Fish approached him and his friend, and asked if the two had eaten lunch. The boys had said no, and Fish then proceeded to invite them to his apartment for some sandwiches. The two boys played on Fish's bed as they waited for him to return with the food. However, as they were playing on Fish's bed, they managed to move Fish's mattress, which had Fish's implements of hell hidden underneath. Upon the two boys finding his implements, they both quickly fled from Fish's apartment, after becoming afraid after seeing his tools. Cyril Quinn ran quick. He managed to escape his fate. However, the next line contrasts this. "Poor Grace fell in vain. Grace Budd failed to run away. She fell in the boogeyman's hunt." This line is illustrating another one of Fish's monikers, the boogeyman. Tiny saints digested, bisected. Small children being eaten and cut to pieces simply for Fish's sick mind. Hopscotch hops on creaks and cracks. I believe this line is in reference to how some of the victims he lured would play nonchalantly as they were unaware of Fish's intentions. Hide your tracks, clear any target on your back. Fish wasn't captured till the year 1934. He was arrested at the age of 64. He hid his tracks very well, and he wasn't caught till he was nearing the end of his lifespan. Foggy moon, eyes glow. The foggy moon is basically when the moon is surrounded by clouds and only a small amount of light can leak through, making nighttime even darker. This line is probably in reference to how Fish may have acted at night to hide his evidence. Counting 10, 9, 0 fingers. Probably meaning Fish would eat his victim's fingers along with the majority of their corpse. Won't you come and play the Grey Man's game? Fish was also known as the Grey Man. He was tall, skinny, and very pale. He would also approach some of his victims as they were playing games. And as the imagery from earlier displayed, this video implies that Fish saw his victims as toys, so he'd want to play games with them, hence the Grey Man's game. Move quick, be an artful dodger, when the cleaver starts swishing in flames. I feel like this, again, is in reference to the children trying to escape Fish's attacks once the Grey Man's game had started. Then more imagery quickly flashes on screen. A girl's body on the floor, a girl's face, a skull, a girl growing black angel wings, followed by a flower, then finally the shot of the corpse from the beginning once again, but this time with blood pooled around it. I think the imagery here represents the girl's death, Grace Budd, but the only outlier here is the shot of the flower. This may be in reference to what Grace Budd did before her death. As Albert Fish was stripping and preparing for her murder, she calmly waited outside of the Wisteria house, picking wildflowers. Also, the skull that was shown may represent how Grace was when the police found her. There was no body left, they simply only found her bones, and notably her skull. The chorus then repeats with the same lyrics as before, and as well as the same imagery, until the very end. We see a girl all dressed in white, with white hair, nodding her head from side to side with a bright red background. We see shots of an arm, an eye opening, a pair of empty shoes, a large vat with a body inside, a shot of a cleaver that was used earlier, as well as the text, "fresh peanut butter." I actually think this line is a joke, as Fish was a fan of eating his own feces, and there is a joke that he liked peanut butter, which is a little more light-hearted than the previous imagery. We then see a plate with a fork and spoon, and then we proceed to see an empty swing set. The background then turns to white as the girl then fades into the background. and then the reversed audio I played earlier begins coming in as we see a pair of empty shoes from before on the grass, as the shot of a dead girl with a sunken in face fills the screen as someone recites the words of a madman in reverse. The video then fades to white and finishes. In conclusion, Secrets of Wisteria acts as a culmination of events and acts that Albert Fish has been a part of. It recounts how he murdered children, ate them, and even recounts the man's words in reverse. However, whilst upon initial watching I did find this video and the song accompanying it quite disturbing, the research I did for this video disturbed me much more so. Learning about the depravity of this monster really got to me. Even when writing this script and researching, I had to sometimes take breaks because it started to get to me, imagining what happened to all the people Fish affected. This music video is art, and sometimes art imitates reality, but sometimes reality is much scarier. Hi, and thanks for watching the video. Yeah, this video took me a while to make. On top of me being busy, the subject matter of this video is quite depressing, so I kind of put it off for a while, just so I wouldn't have to research it more and read about Albert Fish. But it's out now, so again, thanks for watching. There are a couple songs out there which are based on true events and true crime, and my favourite of which is Suzanne by Plan B, which is based on the Camden Ripper, which is kind of intriguing, so check that out if you want. I know I said I found it hard to research and write this script, which I did, despite how much it depressed and disgusted me. I have a morbid curiosity for true crime stuff. If you have anything you'd want me to cover on the channel, please feel free to let me know. Something creepy or disturbing or otherwise, please feel free to tell me. Thank you all again for watching. Please click all the buttons, like, comment, etc. You know which buttons. Join my Discord if you want to say hello and talk about nerd stuff. Say hello on Twitch if you want to see what video I'm making next. And yeah, toodles my doodles. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. I'm gonna go watch cute animal videos for a couple hours. See ya.